So we got an interesting situation coming out of Baltimore. Um, really interested in pretty much the Baltimore Ravens releasing Calais Campbell. What does that mean for Lamar Jackson? I think it's kind of weird, you know, because Calais Campbell has been an outspoken leader on that team for Lamar Jackson. He's vouched for Lamar Jackson. He mentioned paying the man. I think that he may have been more outspoken in that situation because he knew he was on his way out. But they released the six-time defensive end. You know, you know, after they tagged Lamar Jackson, so they created $7 million in much-needed cap space. He was the fifth highest cap figure on the team. He had $9.44 million on the team. Now, I look at it two ways. I look at it, hey, you're looking at a defensive leader on that team who was was very outspoken, very local, very vocal, who, kind of was the nucleus of that defense, set the guy straight, was a voice. He'll be sought after guy in free agency, but he won the Ravens some games. He was a guy that you want on that defense side of the ball, leading that team. They put him at D tackle, they put him at D end, they moved him essentially around everywhere while he was playing. Yes, I get create cap space for Calais Campbell. Now the question is, why not restructure his contract? You want a guy like that in your locker room. You want a guy like that in your locker room. So I look at it two ways. Are you saying, hey, look, you know what, things are looking real slim or a little bleak with Lamar Jackson. Let's just get rid of cap space, because right now, looking at cap space, the Ravens are only have $4 million in cap space to work with. So and on a 51-man roster. So there's a lot of decisions that need to be made. That's actually what sixth worst in the league. I think it's either two things. Baltimore's either saying two things. We're releasing Calais Campbell because we want to create cap space for other guys who want to sign along with Lamar Jackson, or we're releasing him because we're just saying, you know what, things aren't working out with Lamar Jackson. Let's just get rid of House, right? But that's a defensive leader. Of course, I know he's carrying a big price tag, but that's a big defensive leader on your team. Of course, you signed Roquan Smith, and you have Patrick Queen, McQueen, who's Patrick Queen, who's starting to come along to be a solid player. Him and Roquan Smith played a lot with each other. You pay him that large contract. Are they creating space to create opportunities for Lamar Jackson, or they're saying they're shipping things off? We will see what happens later on down the lines. I still think that teams are still putting their money in. I still think the Ravens are still putting all their chips in signing Lamar Jackson. I think Lamar Jackson wants to be a Raven. That's what even Calais Campbell said when on his way out. Creating space it's a tricky thing in this league. But I think the easiest thing to do is you pay Lamar Jackson, and then you change the offense, and you're good. To be honest with you, I hate to say it. I don't think this team thinks it's that simple. Lamar Jackson's going to play free agency, see what comes his way. There's still a lot of uncertainty when it comes to quarterbacks and where Lamar Jackson could potentially go. Wherever he goes, that team's going to be an automatic contender. If you don't believe me, go watch the film I posted on him as far as him, making tight throws against zone and man coverage. But Lamar Jackson, it's either Baltimore with releasing Calais Campbell. It's either saying, hey, look, we're out with the old and with the new, or they're going to say, hey, look, let's create space for Lamar Jackson. So it could be a good sign, but it also could be Ravens. I don't think that's the case, but I think it is more or less them creating space for Lamar Jackson, and I think that we'll see more guys get released or contracts restructured down the lines with the Baltimore Ravens.